Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be comparing the performance, image quality and latency of the official FSR frame generation, mod FSR frame generation, LSFG 3 and AFMF2 in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The game just received a new hotfix. This is its update log. The reason for not using AFMF 2.1 is that with the AMD GPU driver Adrenaline version 25.3.1, the game always crashes at startup for me on Rog Ally. This is why I'm using AMD GPU driver Adrenaline version 25.2.1. The game officially supports FSR 3.1. It even supports AntiLag 2. But when we combine these two techniques, the game runs in a choppy manner on Rog Ally. I'll be testing the game in downtown Seattle, one of the most demanding areas in this game. I've set the UMA buffer size to 7 GB. My Ally is running on BIOS version 341. Using a 27 watts manual profile, all three power values set at 27 watts, 720p resolution, CPU boost disabled. Connected my 8-bit to Ultimate 2C controller to Ally via 2.4 GHz wireless mode. First I'll highlight the official FSR frame generation implementation. In game settings, set the window mode to full screen. This is actually borderless full screen mode. I've set the resolution to 720p. Upscale method XCSS. This is version 1.3 using its quality mode. Sharpness level 4. Anti-lag to disable for the time being. Frame generation off. VSync off. Using the medium preset with post-processing effects disabled. Motion blur quality set to off. Depth of field disabled as well. Lens flare off. Chromatic aberration intensity and frame grain intensity set to nil. Launch the game. Adrenaline settings for the game. VSync enable. VSync enable. That's it. We are in. This is downtown Seattle. Dilapidated city covered in vegetation. Using a custom afterburn overlay to show you the performance metrics, the FPS is close to 50. Look at that VRAM usage. Around 6.6 GB. Hitting the GPU bottleneck here. 43 to 50 FPS. Okay, now I'll enable official FSR frame generation. Set frame generation to FSR. Apply. Back to the game. The FPS increased to around 90. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Slight increase in latency. HUD elements are not flickering. I'll just traverse the area on horseback. Check the stability. In this area there can be a few edges here and there. Look at that thick foliage. See the animals in the background. I haven't enabled anti-lag 2 yet. Frame pacing graph mostly stays a flat line, indicating a very stable performance. Go through here. There's an open area nearby which is very heavy on the GPU. There it is. The FPS dropped to 70. Still the performance is decent. Okay, now I'll enable anti-lag 2. Anti-lag 2 set to on. Apply. I'll enable anti-lag 2's latency monitor by pressing its hotkey combo Alt Shift and L. Okay, FPS dropped to around 40. Look at the spikes on the frame pacing graph. The game is stuttering. Frame generation is not working at all. So combining anti-lag 2 with official FSR frame generation implementation is still not a good idea in this game. Oh my god, look at that freeze. This is so yeah, the game crashed. In the error prompt it's mentioned that the game ran out of VRAM, but that's not the case. Anti-lag 2 causes this problem. If you want to use anti-lag 2 in this game, just do not combine it with FSR frame generation. Now I'll test the game using LSFG. It's a part of a paid application called Lossless Scaling that sells on Steam Store for around $7 US. I'll show you the settings. Not using any of lossless scaling subscaling algorithms. Type LSFG 3, mode fixed, multiplier 2. LSFG will try to double the FPS. Capture API TXGI, draw FPS setting on. Sync mode default. Clip cursor setting enabled. Max frame latency set to 1. Settings, hotkey for Enabling LSFG, Control Alt and S, start as admin setting on, minimize tab, adrenaline settings for the game, FreeSync on, VSync off, radiant chill setting enable, applying a 60 FPS cap, set peak FPS and idle FPS values to 60. Using the same in-game settings as before, window mode set to full screen, 720p resolution XeSS upscaler using its quality preset, medium settings, AntiLag 2 on, frame generation disabled. We are in. Yeah, this is the game running without FSR frame generation, but with AntiLag 2 on. Now it's working properly. No stuttering. FPS is within a range of 43 to 50. Head to that dome building. I'll just enable LSFG. Press its hotkey combo. Control Alt and S. It's working. You can see its FPS counter in the top left corner. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. FPS increased to around 80. AntiLag 2's latency monitor is blocking it. LSFG's FPS counter. Okay, I'm observing some garbled textures around the character model. See, when I move the camera in complete circles. Latency is not a problem, stays within a range of 70 to 80 milliseconds. AntiLag 2 does a decent job of cutting down the latency. Some minor graphical artifacts, nothing extreme. Game's interface is not flickering. Even a crosshair is not flickering. So good results with LSFG. Best part is you can combine it with the game's official AntiLag 2 implementation. And just head to that open area. It's very heavy on the GPU. It's nearby. Need to go through here. Base FPS dropped to around 40. Observing a strip of garbled textures on the bottom edge of the display. Very difficult to observe it on a small size screen. This is the root. VRAM usage is close to 6.7 GB. Yeah, made to the open area. Base FPS dropped to around 35. FPS with frame generation 70. Just hide AntiLag 2's latency monitor. Now you can see the FPS with LSFG on. Now I'll test the game with AFMF 2. Minor graphical artifacts on the character models with LSFG 3. See, some garbled textures on the character model. Adrenaline settings for the game. FreeSync on, VSync off, radiant chill setting on. Applied a 60 FPS cap. AFMF 2 setting on. Set search mode to high. This prevents frame generation smoothing effect from getting disabled during fast visual motion. Performance mode set to quality. Lost the game. Again I am using the same settings as before. 720p resolution, AntiLag 2 on, FSR frame generation off, XeSS upscaler quality mode, medium preset. Only Adrenaline's overlay can show the true FPS count with AFMF 2 on. I have enabled it. With the same sequence, yeah, FPS increased to around 80 with AFMF on. Base FPS is close to 40 to 45. Latency is not a problem. Frame generation lag value 17 milliseconds. AntiLag 2 is doing a good job of keeping the latency in check. Both LSFG and AFMF 2 feels more responsive than official FSR frame generation implementation. It's due to AntiLag 2, which does not work properly with official frame generation. FPS stays close to 80. I'll go to that open area, sprint. FPS is very stable. Look at that VRAM usage, close to 6.8 GB.
Hey, I think I found the courthouse.
This particular area is very heavy. With LSFG, FPS was close to 70. With the AFMF, FPS mostly stays close to 90. Here it should drop down to 70. Let's see. Yeah, 75 FPS. So good performance in downtown Seattle with AFMF. I forgot to talk about the image quality. Just observe the crosshair here. When I move the camera around, some flickering is produced around the crosshair. Even the game's HUD element is flickering. Bit disappointed with the image quality of AFMF2. There are some garbled textures around the character model as well. Very difficult to observe them. LSFG did not produce this flickering of the crosshair and game's interface. Same thing for FSR frame generation. Now I'll test the game with DLSS enabler mod. I'll be using the trunk build of DLSS enabler. You can download it for free from GitHub. I'll give its link in the description. Scroll down until you find the asset section, expand it, click on the .exe link. Now I'll show you the game directory where you need to install DLSS enabler. Select the game in your same library, right click, manage, browse local files. This is the game directory, copy it from here. Now just execute DLSS enabler setup file. There it is. Check I accept. Next, paste the game's install directory here. Next, select the first option, install as a version.dll file. Check this option, enable support for AMD and Intel GPUs. Check this option, install XeSS and FSR replacements. Select OptiScaler 0.6 as I'll be using Nukem 9's mod. It replaces DLSS frame generation with FSR frame generation. Next, install. Uncheck this setting, finish. Open the game's installed directory. We need to disable the mods AntiLag to implementation, otherwise frame generation smoothing effect won't work properly. Just look for a file name nvngx.ini. There it is, open it. Just set generator to FSR 31. It's set to auto by default. Look for a line name reflex emulation. You need to set it to NOOP. Now look for a line name DX12 upscaler. It's under upscaler section. There it is. Just set it to XeSS. This mod comes with XeSS version 2. Scroll down until you find init flag section. From here you just need to set auto exposure to true. Click on file, click on save, close. In the game's install directory, look for a file name fakenvapi.ini. There it is, open it. Just set force underscore reflex to 1. Set to 0 by default. Click on file, click on save, close. Adrenaline settings for the game. I'll remove the 60 FPS cap via Radiant Gel. Enable FreeSync and VSync. AFMF2 off. That's it. When you launch the game with DLSS enabler installed, this message will pop up. No installed graphics card has been detected. Ignore it. Click on OK. In-game settings. Resolution set to 720p. Display mode full screen. Upscaler set to DLSS. Very important. This means the mod is working using its quality preset. Frame generation set to DLSS. This force enables NVIDIA Reflex, but it's not going to work as we have disabled it from mods configuration file. AntiLag to off. Medium preset with post-processing effects disabled. Launch the game. We are in. Your FPS increased to around 80. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. AntiLag 2 does not work with mod FSR frame generation. Same thing for official FSR frame generation, but it works fine with LSFG 3 and AFMF2. This is why these two techniques feel more responsive than official FSR and mod FSR. In terms of image quality, mod FSR and official FSR are almost the same. No HUD elements are flickering. Even the crosshair is not flickering. No artifacts are produced around our character model C. Artifacts were produced in the case of LSFG and AFMF2. Smoothing effect of all of these techniques work very nicely. 80 FPS with mod FSR. So if the official FSR frame generation implementation is not working properly on your PC, you can try using DLSS enabler mod. That's it for the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching. and have a nice day.